Balls. We've all got them, but we need to talk about how to use them. Contact routine is an interaction between the ball, the performer and the audience. And so it's a really key part to be thinking about from the beginning. It's really going to influence how your routine progresses. So a few things to think about when you're picking which prop to use. First one is the most technical one, is just the comfort of the thing. What are you comfortable using? If you've never used an acrylic before, you don't want to buy one and then go straight out to perform with it because it's going to handle very differently to a really light stage ball. The next thing to think about in those kind of technical terms is the size of the audience and your visibility. So a big rhythmic gymnastics ball like that, that's going to be really visible from really far away. If you're up on stage, if you're doing a big circle show, something huge like that is going to be much better. Whereas a much smaller stage ball like that's just going to disappear. That's more for close-up work, for multi-ball, things like that. You can use those smaller balls. And then we're going to think about the atmosphere that they create as well. There's a very different atmosphere between having that acrylic. There's that kind of magical surrounding to it, to say some brightly coloured balls like that. That more circusy kind of feel, that classically circusy kind of feel. It's going to create that very different atmosphere and set an expectation in the audience's mind. And I think that's one of the key things that I want to talk about today, because it's not really talked about all that often, is how important the prop is in setting that expectation in your spectators. So for example, the most obvious example, you come out on stage with an acrylic and it's this very special thing. It reflects the light in a very unusual way. Everything's upside down to the audience. It just has that kind of magical air to it. The audience is going to expect something magical to happen to it. And they're going to think it's made of water, it's a bubble or something like that. Again, you've set those expectations. You can either follow through with that, or you can break it. You can do a very harsh bounce routine or something like that with an acrylic and really change those expectations. But that initial thought is still implanted there. Contrast that with coming out with a dented up old stage ball or a tennis ball or something like that. Again, the audience isn't going to expect something magical to happen with that. So you have this very different expectation that you can play with or you can break. For a lot of routines, the ball could even be the first thing that the audience sees. If it's already placed on stage, you're already setting an expectation for them as to what's going to come next. So don't necessarily go with your first instinct. Actually give it some thought about what you want to choose and what message you want to send to your audience with that choice.